Hello and welcome to this taste challenge. These are two American whiskeys, sour mash whiskeys. Okay, here is Daviess County. The brand was introduced in 1936, and this is the 96 proof. I don't think it's that old. I know it's not, but this is a no age stated 96 proof sour mash Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, which is produced under a double mash bill protocol. They combine a high rye straight bourbon whiskey with a wheated bourbon whiskey, and they're both aged at least 4 years. And this runs about $38, $40 a bottle, but I got it on a deep discount, $14.99. True story. Great deal. It's been winning. Hadn't won all the contests, but it's won most of them. Here's the competitor. Another one I got a great deal on. This is a limited release. Now I have a liter bottle, 1 liter, and I got it for $7.99. I'm not making that up. $7.99 at a Discount Depot in Marrero, Louisiana. I bought this about 5 years ago. I think by the time I bought it, it was already out of production or close to be out of production. They just put it on the market for a few years. The trademark was adopted in 2018, but I believe it was on the market a few years before they bothered getting the trademark for it. Aged 3 years, so it's a year longer than it's required to be, but it's aged 3 years, and it's from Cascade Hollow Distillery, which is the George Dickel Distillery, distilled and charcoal mellowed. And it's 80 proof, so it's not like the regular Dickel. It's like 86 to 90, but this is just a minimum 3-year age. Well, it's actually, that's not quite minimum, right? 2 years, the minimum for these Tennessee whiskeys, but well, maybe. Okay, but if you look at the regulation, it just says it has to be aged, and doesn't specify 2 years. But this is 3-year age Tennessee whiskey, no E, right? Chill filtered and charcoal mellowed, because George Dickel pioneered the chill filtering method, which they claim is the best way. There's an essay on the side of the bottle if you want to read that. Yeah, so I bought this right at the end of the production, and I bought this for $7.99, liter bottle, like I said. I bought a second bottle from our friend David. They blew through it in a weekend, but never saw it again. There's one half the essay and the other half of the essay. But it makes sense that I never saw it again, because if you look on the website, if they still have that part on the frequently asked questions, it says currently out of production. So they don't produce it, and they don't list it on the website. You're not going to find it on there. It's embossed on the bottle. All right, so it tastes really nice, but it's simple, simple product. Now, no, the regular price was not $7.99 for a liter, maybe more like, let's see, for a liter of this, it was probably like $25. Yeah, let's say it's about $25. Still got a decent amount of it left. But I notice it doesn't say, that should be enough. I notice it doesn't say straight whiskey. It just says George Dickel Tennessee whiskey. If you notice the George Dickel labels, they don't claim that their stuff is straight whiskey. They just say whiskey. Tennessee whiskey, which means it's from Tennessee. Common sense. Wooden cap, real cork here. So real corks, not rubber. Bit of focus. There it goes. Real cork. All right. So you're probably going to have trouble finding either one of these really, because I don't see Daviess County 96 proof around. I mean, I just don't. I don't see it around. Now, it might be common where you live, but where I live, it's not common. And I ran across it. A local store had it for $14.99. Well, yeah, $14.99. Of course, I'm going to buy it. When I check online and they got it $38 to $40. I mean, I check 10 to 20 websites, and it's always $38 to $40. Sometimes higher than that, a little bit too high. Sometimes lower, a little unusually low. But like I said, I got it for $14.99, so of course I'm going to buy it. Let's see. Comments. BH says, cheers, Jay, from Middlebury, Indiana. Well, cheers to you. And thanks for watching. And oh, they're both amber. Not much difference in appearance here. Probably need to add a little bit more of the Dickel Cascade Hollow. Okay, so quick story. From 1870 to 1964, more or less, Dickel produced a product called Cascade Whiskey. That's what it was called, Cascade Tennessee Whiskey. It was kind of inexpensive. I guess if you want to call it a cheapo, whatever, it's probably all right. But in 1964, they wanted to step up a little bit, so they introduced two products: the khaki labeled George Dickel number 12, and the little cheaper priced black label, the number 8, which are still produced today. You can find them most liquor stores. The number 8 and the number 12. Now the last couple of years, they got their Kentucky straight bourbon. Obviously, there's not a George Dickel distillery in Kentucky, so yeah. Oh, wait a minute. It's not straight bourbon. It's just bourbon. But pretty sure it's from Kentucky. But yeah, that doesn't matter because their rye whiskey is not from Kentucky or Tennessee. Their rye whiskey is contract produced in Indiana. George Dickel rye. All right, so it's not considered straight Tennessee whiskey. It's aged 3 years, which is a year longer than straight whiskey is required to be aged, which is 2 years. So why is it not straight whiskey? My opinion, or my guess, more of a guess than an opinion, is that it's probably using a little bit of flavoring, which is why it tastes like strange health food store and or Flintstone vitamins. Yeah. Now you might say, no, it's illegal. You can't add flavor into Tennessee whiskey. Yeah, you sure about that? Because if you read the regulations, there's no mention about flavoring, pro or nay. Yay or nay. William Grimes says, I rarely check online, but once I was looking for a particular Nicaraguan rum, and Total Wine was the cheapest in my area. Are they usually cheaper for other? They're very cheap relative to other places in Louisiana. Not always cheaper. Now, let's not go too far with that. But they typically are cheaper, but it might be like $1. Usually it's like $1 cheaper. So I think they have a team, and they're probably make very little money. And their job is to search around on the internet all day, probably contracted out. And whatever price they find, like say a Walmart, which is usually very cheap, they say, what's that going for? $12.99. So the rule they probably follow, sell it for $11.99. Whatever the price. If it's $49.99, they sell it for $48.99. So it's $1 cheaper everywhere. I mean, than the cheapest place. Now, if you live 2 blocks from Total Wine, yeah, why not go there every time, right? You're going to save $1 every purchase. But in my case, if you're over 20 miles away, it doesn't make any sense to go to Total Wine to save $1, right? But I do pass through that town quite often, at least once a month. So if I know that they've got stuff $1 cheaper, sometimes more, sometimes it's not any cheaper. But whatever the case is, if I know I'm going to pass through there, and it's right on a main road, I'll say, I'll stop and get it. And then it's not like I'm paying extra to go there because I'm there already. So, but if you're not close to one, yeah, it doesn't really make sense to go there. But yeah, so if you read the Tennessee regulations very carefully, There's no prohibition against adding flavoring to the whiskey. And you can't come back at me talking about, well, you can't add flavor into bourbon. Ding, 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 ding. It doesn't claim to be a bourbon, even though it is. It doesn't claim to be a bourbon. It claims to be legally a Tennessee whiskey. Oh. Now, if they were calling it bourbon, that would be a horse of a different color. So they're very clever. They're not calling it bourbon. They're calling it Tennessee whiskey. KY, not KEY. No problem there. It's not claiming to be straight whiskey, which means, yes, quite frankly, it is allowed to have flavoring or coloring added. Now, you can look at that any way you want to, but there's really only one way to look at it, the correct way. So I'm not definitively saying that's the case, but that probably is the reason. Okay, does it bother me? Doesn't bother me, especially when I only paid $7.99 for the liter. It would be kind of hard to complain, wouldn't it? Now, if I had paid $23.99 for the liter, no, well, I probably still wouldn't complain. All right. Smells a little strange. Yeah. Kind of sweet. They're both kind of sweet, candy corn type thing. These bourbons tend to be much more similar than they are different. Cheers, Louisiana Liquor Review. Searching for the soul of America. Yes, Tommy. A lot of times people overplay these bourbons like, oh, it's such a big difference. But when you get down to it, yeah, it's usually more like a sort of minimal difference, because the bourbon rules are so strict. There's only one way to construct them, basically. So, which might beg the question, why are you paying these high prices? I didn't say it. I just went, no. All right, taste. You would assume 80 proof versus 96 proof is not going to be much of a competition, right? I don't think that's assumption. That's a pretty good assumption. Yeah, this tastes like an 80 proof bourbon. It's smooth. It's easygoing. Oh, I'm sorry, an 80 proof Tennessee whiskey, not a straight whiskey. Sour mash, like sourdough bagel. Yeah. Smooth, nice, mellow, enjoyable. Probably better than Jack Daniels, but I didn't say that. I say probably better. I try to be like real careful. All right. Clearly 96 proof. I mean, you could just tell it's more powerful. There's more presence. There's more strength. It's bolder. The flavors are more intricate. You're combining a high rye mash bill and a wheated, so you get the softness from the wheat, the mintiness from the rye. You would expect that it would be more complex. I mean, after all, it's much more expensive. However, it's not that much more incredibly greater and fantastically more high quality. So then it comes down to like, well, do I really want to pay the extra $20? That's up to you. It's your money. It's got that weird medicine, not medicine. It's kind of like vitamins, Flintstone vitamins, health food store flavor. I don't know what that is. But I mean, yeah, it's all right. Yeah, if it was my money, and I had to pay regular prices, which I just mentioned earlier, I did not have to pay regular prices, but let's assume I did have to. I mean, I'll just go with the red label. I'll just go with the Dickel. I would pick the Dickel. No, the quality is not quite up to the other level, but then if I could save $20, I mean, are you really losing that much? And you might still find some of these around. I really don't think you're losing too much. You're gaining $20 and you're losing a few dollars. But I don't think the quality difference is profound. I don't see it. Yeah, not the greatest thing, but it's certainly smooth. And me being a more of an 80 proof guy, it's more amenable to my flavor, my taste preferences. I know some people are like, "Oh, get out of here with that 80 proof, you wimp." I'm a high proof guy. I'm a barrel proof guy. Well, that's fine. If you want to do barrel proof, that's your deal. You know, it's your tree, Frank. You're sitting in it, but it's not what I want to deal with. But to each his own, as it says in the National Enquirer. But I mean, the Daviess County is like it's like Jenny's mom. You know, it's got it going on. I mean, it does have it going on. It's an enjoyable product. It's very it's I don't know about very elaborate, but it's it has an elaboration on it. It's elaborate in a sense, but it's nice. It's good. It's worth the $38, $40. That's pushing it. It's pushing it, but it's probably worth it. Okay, Tommy says it's Seagram's VO going to be in one of your taste challenges. Well, in fact, Seagram's VO has been in many of my taste challenges, but it's from years ago. Yeah, just look up on my channel under the live videos because you can click, like live and look up Seagram's VO. Yeah, you'll see a bunch. Now in Canada, they claim it's aged 6 years. Like if you look on LCBO, Liquor Control Board of Ontario, they say it's a 6-year age. Well, I mean, probably it is because where are they getting that information? Duh, probably from Sazerac, Canada, right? I love Negro Modelo, but when I can get a 22-ounce mug of Ziegenbach for $3, it's a no-brainer for me. Yeah, I like Ziegenbach. We can't get it in Louisiana anymore. Well, maybe Zapardo still has it. Yeah, Ziegenbach never was really too exactly popular here. And was Amberbach really ever that big of a deal? You can't find Amberbach. I mean, Amberbach is basically dead. And maybe Ziegenbach is dead. I mean, Anheuser-Busch got a lot of problems right now, and seem like they've been cutting out a lot of products. Is the world going to mourn that they cut Ziegenbach and Amberbach from Michelob? I doubt it. I mean, think about it. When's the last time you drank an Amberbach? Hadn't been too many times for me in the last 10 years. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm a devoted follower. It's kind of like George Killian's Irish Red Lager. Would it break my heart if they discontinued it? I mean, do I ever drink it? Once every 5 years to make a video? I mean, yeah, no. But I like it. It used to be my go-to when I drink whiskey, Butch, says Tommy. Oh, yeah, VO. I like VO. It's mild. If you want to say bland, it's kind of bland, but it's good. I don't take any issue with VO. I'd buy VO every day of the week over Chivas Regal. I know it's blended Scotch. I get it. VO is Canadian blended whiskey, but no, I'm not saying VO tastes better than Chivas Regal, but it doesn't taste worse, and it's a lot cheaper. If I'm gonna buy something bland, I may as well buy VO, which is kind of on the dull side, but I cannot see paying $30 to $35 for a regular bottle of Chivas Regal, which is like he said, well, you didn't say anything. It was like an empty space. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'd rather pay $22 for a handle of VO, which is the same experience, but it's $13 cheaper, and I get a handle instead of a $7.50. Like ding ding. Yep. Easy decision. No complaint against Daviess County. Oh, yeah, I didn't even identify him yet. I'm assuming I got it right. Well, if I get this wrong, I'd be so ashamed. Yeah, it's Daviess County. Oh, man. Well, I'm going to call her back. I know who it is. It's about these football tickets. All right. Let it ring. She sent me a text at 2:05 a.m. Asked me, "Do you want these tickets?" Well, I want the tickets. That wasn't the issue. Of course, I appreciate it. But 2:05, like, why are you sending a text at 2:05 a.m.? But anyway, all right. Yuck, yuck. Nudge, nudge. Wink, wink. Say no more. All right, well, that's it. So Daviess County is the champ, of course, again, and that's it. I'm out of here, and I'll see y'all tomorrow evening, Friday, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern for Fandango Friday. Well, maybe she knows you're an early bird. Yeah, but I mean, that's a bit extreme, don't you think, Butch? She must be a late bird because I know she don't wake up that early, but that's another problem. We'll deal with that off the air. All right. Take care, y'all.